Your beliefs don't govern anybody else's life. Your beliefs are important to you, and they should be. But for people who don't believe, what you think they care about you quoting some scriptures to them, beloved? And I am a born again Christian. It's just like us trying to go to these other countries and proselytize them, instead of going there and just showing the love of God, just being the love of Christ. Because let me tell you something, if anybody's trying to force something down somebody's throat, it's you. All over the world, people who have had their religion thousands of years before Christianity ever thought about coming this way. And you think that all of a sudden they need to be Christian because you are? Sorry. You can certainly share your story. I talk about my journey, my ups and downs, my doubts, how I came back around to fully understand and how Jesus is still my Savior. It's not, and people was like, well, there's no evidence that Jesus even walked the earth. You're crazy, dude. You know, they told that story decades after Jesus even was here and nobody ever. I understand that. I understand that there were many stories, the same as the story of Christ, long before, all the way from Christ to Osiris. Same exact story. I get that. But guess what? The story of Osiris didn't save me. The story of Jesus did. And if Jesus is not real, oh well, I still agree with the message. I still live by the code that he gave us. And guess what? So many of you that profess to be disciples of Christ are not living by that code. You're more concerned with judging your neighbor than you are loving them. And Jesus already told you what the two greatest commandments was, and neither of them had anything to do about sexuality. Can't you just be kind to people? You gotta agree with them. They don't agree with you. They don't agree with how hypocritical and judgmental you are. They don't agree with how evil and nasty you are, and how narcissistic you are. Because I know how religion can create mental illness. Even the Pope said religious fanatics develop a form of mental illness because they cannot live normally in the real world. Listen, we're all we have. Your fellow man. That's why Jesus said to love your neighbor as yourself, because the only true experience that you're going to have of God is through another human being. God uses people to bless. I don't see money bags falling out of the sky. I don't see houses falling out of the sky. I don't see food falling out of the sky. Manna is not falling from heaven that grows from the ground. But it's because men plant it. And women. I say the term men because, being raised in the church, we always said men to represent mankind. So I include women in that, of course, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for women, including Jesus. You can believe what you want to believe. You don't have to agree with somebody to be kind to them. You don't have to constantly tell them that they're going to hell. Did it ever work? I don't know that it ever worked. The scare tactic, what you did was scare people away from the church and scare them away from you because they got tired of hearing it. You castigating your own family members, throwing teenagers out on the street. You bully young gay men for being feminine when there are no masculine figures in their life. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being feminine, but I'm speaking from your frame of thought. How are you going to judge a child for being feminine when there was no man there? There's only women. What'd you expect? You can't be a man to a boy. You can be a mother. You can provide other male figures in their life, but in so many cases, that don't even happen. I still don't think that makes boys gay. Now, the jury's still out, nature, nurture, both, whatever the case may be, but I'm talking about mannerisms because there's a lot of feminist straight men. I know many of them who for a long time I was like, but I've known them for years. Not like, overtly feminine, but just, feminine mannerisms and natural sort of feminine energy about them that love the P. Love it, baby. I've been around them for years. I would know by now. The gaydar thing is real, baby. The gaydar thing is real. Even when they're masculine. Gay men we know because we give each other signals. Because we had to. Because that's the only way we could find somebody without being killed, without being tortured.